Another season ends as another begins, and the Panda Global Rankings version 3 is finally here with some of the highest stakes ever to be set. Since January, we have seen some of the most incredible breakthroughs from competitors all around the world, as well as some soul-breaking setbacks. Today, the 5-part reveal will begin in celebrating 50 of the most accomplished individuals in the scene. Shifting our methodology to a more exhaustive approach, this season players are rated through a 50-50 split that factors in their placings as well as their set count against the PGR. Placements and set counts each have a weight assigned to them, which corresponds to the tier of the tournament that they were derived from. Meaning, placements and set counts have the most impact when taken from S-tier events, while C-tier events produce the least weighted results. The tournament tier system this season took into account 67 tournaments, of which 4 were S-tier, 11 A-tier, 12 B-tier, and finally 40 C-tier. Our methods involve taking a player's best 4 tournaments and decaying every tournament thereafter in order to balance the rankings from becoming based overwhelmingly on attendance. The set count score, however, takes into account all of their sets weighted strictly by tournament and experiences no decay. In a sense, the placements account for peaks while the set counts account for consistency, and great wins are rewarded accordingly, while bad losses are punished harshly. And once again, X Factor returns, which shows the difference between the objective ranking and the subjective rating that the panel of 35 assigned through their PGR player survey. To learn more, information can be found in our FAQ and methods section in the description below. My name is Suar, and on behalf of Panda Global, it has been a thrilling experience leading the PGstats team to this reveal. The contributions of 13 individuals all culminate in this one moment. Without further ado, it is my honor to introduce to you all your narrator for the series, ambassador to multiple communities, and Twitch's own, D1.
Hello everyone, D1 here, and I'm excited to bring you the PGR V3. We're going to go ahead and get right into it with 50 to 51. The rankings begin with the bold ACMenes from Las Vegas. Representing his own brand of audacity, we have Foe at 50th. Returning to us after a dormant Season 2, Foe reasserts himself as the best Nest in the world, placing with solid peaks at S-tier events. Against all odds, Foe caused one of the first riveting upsets of 2GGC Civil War, sending SoCal giant Larry Lur to the top of the blast zone in a 2-1 victory on Town and City. Falling prey to Japan's QB and Neotono, Foe shows the likes of a competitor whose only threats are at the top of the player base. Returning to the 2GG circuit at the tail end of the season with an appearance at Narration, Foe snatched victory from Rich Brown, Locust, and Mars in quick succession, quieting all those who thought his performance at Civil War was a fluke. Having not qualified to be on the survey given to panelists prior to his explosive performance at Narration, Foe was the only PGR member in history to not have an X Factor. Longtime streamer and now 2-time PGR member, Foe sets his sights on climbing a meta fraught with dangers that pose risks to his on-net counterpart. Sneaking in at 49th, Choco and his Zero Suit Samus take it for Kanto, Japan. With a high of 3rd at Umebura Japan Major and no North American appearances, Choco perplexes as much as he spikes victims into the depths of Smashville. The laundry list of highly respected Japanese wins, Choco has slain the likes of Earth and Kirihara at SGC 2017, Ranai at Sumabato 15, and lastly QB, Edge, Neotona, and Ranai all at Umebura Japan Major, bringing his set count against the top 50 to 7-7. Obscured by his lack of Western appearances, Choco carries a demon that is thirsting to prove itself on the main stage in the West. With an X Factor that precedes him, being voted 19 spots higher by the panelists underscores how formidable Choco is in the eyes of the most critical of panelists. The only North American to have experience with Choco is MKLeo, and that ended in a painful Game 5 loss to him, a situation that even then only a select few have ever found themselves in. For Choco, Kanto continues to be his home for the better part of now, but rest assured that he will be defending his region from any outside forces that dare underestimate him. Las Vegas native and Bayonetta specialist JK makes it onto the PGR at 48th, representing Yatta Gaming with pride. Like many in Season 3, JK has seen almost a bookend type performance with a strong showing at the beginning with a 7th at Genesis Saga and ending with a respectable 17th at Nairo Saga. Holding wins over Mr. E, Rich Brown, Mars, Salem, and 6WX. JK has asserted himself as a top-level Bayonetta main in a time where many allege her as being number 1. With 4 losses of its 5-11 record against the top 50 being confined to the top 10, JK has created a solid footing for himself for the upcoming season. As the international competition heats up, JK will have plenty of opportunities to boost his rating as well as his set score. Residing in Nevada, JK is expected to tear into many more brackets of the 2GG circuit as he defends his newly minted PGR V3 Top 50 title. Continuing on, 47th goes to the Kansai heavyweight, Edge. sporting a mix between Diddy and Sheik. Having recently visited the States in the late season, Edge was able to place top 16 at Greninja Saga and secure a win against AC, one of SoCal's hometown heroes, marking a respectable peak for one of the heavier A-tier events this year. Meanwhile in Japan, Edge plays to a standard many in the West would view as intimidating. Defeating the likes of QB, Ken, Earth, Hikaru twice, and Ranai twice, it goes without saying that Edge is a force to be reckoned with, and with an X factor of +7, many of the panelists thoroughly agree. With a high of 9th at Umebura Japan Major, Edge was able to claim a top spot in one of Japan's most prestigious events of the season. As the summer rages on, Edge will continue to compete and earn top spots that the West will surely be due to acknowledge. On for a second time on the rankings, MDVA's elite Mewtwo main, Juddy, lands 46 this season, which may come as a surprise to many considering the splash he made last year. The stoic nature of Juddy is something to marvel as he sends many a foe into crippling defeat and devastation. Entering only a select few of events this season, Juddy has had bold instances of brilliance as he competes to defend his reputation as a top-level player, a reputation that is more than present in the minds of panelists who came together to award Juddy an X factor of +14. Aside from winning Glitch 3, one of Maryland's premier regionals, with his only other top 8 appearance being at the A-tier event Royal Flush, Juddy has had to face a meta that is now more than familiar with Mewtwo's tools and weaknesses. Placing top 16 at the Midwest Japanese Fusion event Frostbite 2017, Juddy proved his ability to navigate a bracket filled with unknowns, going so far as to defeat the tactical villager main, Ranai. Electing to choose Rob for matchups that call for it, Juddy will have much to overcome in the summer when he's in peak attendance and facing the rest of the competition. For Juddy, redemption will be among his many accomplishments next season. Rising to the occasion, AC sees his 45th with a debut onto the PGR many predicted as his Meta Knight and Falco combo tore through the ranks. Part of the SoCal ring of competitors regarded highly for their 2G GC performances, AC first caught the attention of the scene with his many victories over PGR V2 members 6WX, Ned, and Samsor at Midwest Mayhem Saga. Balancing a mid and high tier concoction of Falco and Meta Knight, AC has achieved reputable results with both, though he has found more consistency with the Masked Swordsman. It would not be until Civil War in which AC eliminated Mexico's Swords Tri-Main from MKLeo in an astonishing 3-2 win that forced the community to recognize his skill. However, to many on the panel, an X factor of -15 denotes a lack of confidence in AC, though he has the results to prove it. Being 5-7 against the PGR and 1-3 against the top 10 is something an overwhelming majority in the community could wish they could claim. With steady placings this season and the immediate proximity to the 2GG circuit, AC will be continuing to progress the Falco meta when he's off of his preferred main, Meta Knight, all summer long. Mexico blesses us with another champion. Javi storms in at 44th and finally joins his cousin MKLeo among the elite. Affiliated with Mexican esports team Hydra Pro Gaming, Javi has had a stellar season, especially when considering the fact he is a newcomer to the PGR, balancing a Sheik and a Cloud. 2 top 32 placings at 2 of the 3 S-tier events that he attended, Javi has shown the resilience needed to stay ahead of the curve. A 9th at Genesis Saga provided Javi with a chance to captivate the community as he proved there's more to Mexico than meets the eye. Winning over Ally at Midwest Mayhem 7 and over MKLeo at the Arena 2017 marks Javi not only as killer in pools but also as a threat in the later stages of events. Given an X factor of +7, Javi's abilities are not to be taken lightly. His 4-9 against the top 50 and 2-5 against the top 10, Javi has definitely made an impression despite his moderate travels. Javi will continue to impress upon the community his skills as he teams with MKLeo all summer in premier doubles events around the world. A veteran of the Brawl days, Kanto's own Neotono continues to impress at 43rd. Playing for Detonation Gaming, Neotono has had an intriguing season, and despite being at his lowest ranking in 3 seasons, he has still returned once again. Neotono plays off a cerebral Sheik and the Diddy Kong secondary that allows him to maneuver brackets that prove troublesome to most. This season, Neotono's Western placings of 17th at Civil War and 33rd at Genesis 4 were quickly dwarfed by his 5th at Umebura Japan Major. There, Neotono did what many would deem as nothing short of amazing, defeating Kameme, Komarikiri, and Ranai all in one fell swoop. Being 1-2 against the top 20 is something Neotono will be improving upon this summer, let alone being 4-12 against the top 50. With an X factor of +8, panelists think highly of Neotono, and he will have to match those expectations with results all next season. Returning from the PGR V1, Counterlogic Gaming's Nakat finds himself at 42nd at the end of this season. Renowned for his mix of high-level play, Nakat has opted to more often than not brandishes Fox on the national stage, resorting to Ness in doubles matches with his esteemed CLG counterpart Void, and has found great success as a result. Traveling to events all across the country, Nakat has accrued a 3-9 set count against the top 50 and has an 0-3 record against the top 10. However, these lack of sets are not to be mistaken with a lack of skill, as Nakat has placed with a peak of 9th at Greninja Saga, followed by 17th at Genesis 4, the season's second heaviest tournament. Defeating MVD, Edge, and Kameme this time around, Nakat's main counterplay revolves around picking the right poison for his foes, forging a Lucina this season that has taken many sets for him. However, a -4 X Factor leaves much ground for Nakat to cover this summer, as he refines his play and practices his different characters in preparation for the meta's deepest threats. Catch him traveling between SoCal and the Midwest, where he newly resides with the old school brawl crew, Leap of Faith. Punctuating 50 through 41, Scat takes victory for himself and MVG as a 3-time veteran to the PGR. With a Wiimote and nunchuck in tow, Scat is one of the few who use such a seemingly daunting controller setup. Regardless, armed with his Mega Man, Scat has earned remarkable placings, with 9th at both Nairo Saga and CO Dreamland being his peaks. With 3 sets over Fatality and single sets over JK, Rich Brown, and Tweak, Scat has now for a 3rd time proved that he is indeed as deadly as ever. As a note, however, the X Factor was based on an opinion prior to Nairo Saga, which of course did not take into account his 9th place finish. Doubted with a -15, Scat has risen above the odds and finished with a successful 3rd season. With Scat, much of his role this year has taken form as not only a top player, but also as a coach to many on the national stage. Follow him as he continues to push the Mega Man meta while also mentoring top players when it matters most. Once again, this has been D1, and it has been a thrill introducing these 10 extraordinary individuals to the PGR V3. As always, be sure to stay tuned to PGstats on Twitter at the PGstats for more updates. Tune in on June 29th for 4 through 31. See you next time. This is D1 signing off.